Hello, and welcome to another episode of Minutes Modcast with his mates. Hey, Satya and Mo.
Hello.
Okay, right, we've got a fun-packed show for everyone today. Now, Satya, I know you quite like to read, that old school thing of reading and those things called books. What have you been reading this week?
I'm still the old soul, as to say. I like to touch the paper. So
Yes.
I'm rereading this book called The Hard Things About the Hard Things. I'm rereading for one reason, that Anthropic, and second is they have very good chapters on how to deal with entrepreneurship per se, tough decisions, and how time can be and what makes you going. Because as we all discuss about solopreneurship, about creating our own sources of products, creating them, this book is helping me again quite a lot. And there's also a very famous self-help book, plus many things together, is this Almanack of Naval Ravikant. So this book also talks a lot about principles, about what skill set one should start gaining so that they can monetize it at some point, and what will keep people playing the long game, for example. So I saw that this book was mentioned by quite a lot of YouTubers I follow, and then I picked it to read one.
Brilliant. Amazing. Let's finish with doing a couple of demos today. So we've talked about AI, talked about the future of AI. Let's share where we are right now. Satya, I understand you have something you've been having a play with this week.
Yes, I am. I'm yet to stitch all of it together. So as I said, because I'm studying more about entrepreneurship, solopreneurship, what skills to be obtained, what is the future of work. So, and I listen to quite a lot of videos, quite a lot of YouTube videos. So I can show you my screen. This is Daniel Priestley. I think he's one of the very famous entrepreneurs, and he appeared on Diary of the CEO.
Yeah.
And in this, he talks about quite a lot of frameworks.
Right.
About how do you introduce yourself, how do you now create your own branding, and so on and so forth. And it's 3 hours or 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
And similarly, there are quite a few videos that I have watched over the course of a few months, and I have collected them or bookmarked them. Now, what I started to do was to take the URL. So basically, I copy it, and I use a tool called Notebook LLM.
Yeah.
And Notebook LM, or what it does is it analyzes a source. For example, and now I add it to the YouTube link to the YouTube button. And I created this list for today's demonstration. I'm just showing that this is a list of all the YouTube videos that I watched, where I saw that the frameworks were quite obviously discussed. And I asked this question to the LM. Like, what are the different frameworks mentioned in all of these videos? What are the commonalities and what are the differences? And what are the connecting dots, basically? Because in my head, I'm connecting them, but I was trying to also validate if it was a cross-validation as well. So it gave me something like this. These are the frameworks that were mentioned across the videos. And then there are some similarities, for example, addressing a problem, offering a solution, providing guidance, call to action, which we discussed just 3 minutes ago.
Yes.
And then there are differences, for example, how there are different writing styles, how there are different frameworks depending on the need, depending on the problem, and then what are the connecting dots. Again, skill development and irreplaceability, something that we discussed, like future in 10 years, like what is the future-proof skill stack, and the creator economy and personal branding. So there's a lot of information, right? Now, how do I make sense of it if I want to keep a note of it in my head? So I copy this note.
Right.
And I paste in something called as Napkin AI.
Yeah, Napkin's cool.
Napkins, I think we all have used it. So they're, for example, I want to just make sense of picturize in my head and just use Napkin and then see whether it's doing the same. I click it, it does something.
Yeah.
You see, it shows me.
They've updated it recently, so you can even have it so it's in your brand colors, and you can set up templates and things as well. But yeah, this is.
So, for example, you can change the font. I love Roboto font, so by default for me it has Roboto. The colors also you can change, although I use the free version, so I have a limited palette to
Yeah.
use. The brightness can be changed depending on how you want it, and then colors, no color, and one can export this image
That's right.
without a background, with a background, how
Yeah.
white, black, whatever background.
Yeah.
And this is how it creates. So this kind of stitches some things together. So I have watched multiple YouTube videos. I collected the frameworks. I'm visualizing the frameworks, and I then deposit my knowledge in an app that I'm still playing with. It's called, what Capacities does is it is kind of a mix of Notion AI and Obsidian.
Okay.
And you just copy and paste it, and you can start tagging it. For example, there's a writing framework. So I
Right.
can just say that tag this,
Right.
and it starts, you see, it starts to create
Yeah.
graph.
Yeah.
So once I start clicking writing framework, it will
Mhm.
tell me where exactly these were tagged, and I can start making sense of it. Like if I
Mm.
want to write a book, if I want to write a blog, if I want to talk about it somewhere. So by just one click, I have all the information that
Mm.
I can use to communicate further. As you see, that these are now 4 different tabs. I have to keep doing it again and again. So I'm also building an AI agent that will stitch this all together, but I'm still playing with it because most of it is not for free. So
Yeah.
I have to be mindful how I use them.
Yeah. That is awesome. Yeah. I liked how you took it from one tool to then pull into another. And you've been also playing with N8N, is it?
Yes. So it's this one, which is workflow automation, that I'm playing with right
Yeah.
now. So I'm still playing with it. So it's like an advanced version of make.com. So make.com also stitches multiple tools together, and then there's output, that desired output. And this is where I was saying that your why has to be very clear. One can do all of it perfectly fine. You can take many tools together, but why are we even doing it? Unless
Mm.
that is very clear, you cannot start build. Like this is difficult, right? Like what do we do next? Well, unless it's clear in your head, it's not going to be on the here.